Here I am again. Thought I'd try doing it 2 days in a row with my morning routine, just to give another overview. So, I am bigSHow theGod. And I didn't even get as prepared as normal. So what I thought this would be a little bit more real, as in, so I got up, I did my bits and pieces, I exercised, and here I am. So I start flicking through my tasks. So I was kind of in mid-flight here. So on my calendar, I flicked through what I'd done so far. So the exercise I did. So now I'm actually gonna update this podcast and say I'm doing that. It was this morning routine or something. And that just indicates that I've done it. In this case, I'm doing it. So it's quite caught up to date. And I'm about to start doing some journaling. And you'll see here, I had most important tasks. And so I've got a couple here to prepare for today. Now the fitness, just update that to be a little bit more accurate. So I've got to catch up with my son later today, which is important. I've got some career tasks I've got to work through. What I can actually put down is podcast content. So that keeps the tracking of myself on here. So here's the calendar, kind of covers all the areas. So it's quite simple. I have a Trello board, and so this was yesterday's. My task list. Here's my son's list. Where he's at with it. Threw some images in there. And so I've read these again, self-affirmations, putting down some of that this morning, centering myself. And so this is today's list. So I just quickly click off. And so here, what did I kind of do this morning? Weather was no good, so I had to walk in the rain. Gyms are still closed and all the rest of it, but anyway, sit-ups, I did some press-ups, some squats. And that sort of just keeps affirmating what I've done. In a weird way, writing this down has helped me from prior doing it too, because what I started journaling this morning's journal is I was a bit less energy today than usual, and I do have days like that. So I went to bed same time. I slept pretty good, but just don't sort of have that same level of energy. So I'm conscious of that. So now going through the journal, I've got the tasks to do, stuff. So I just tick that off. So that's quite nice. Gives me a little lift. And so here, I've kind of just documented quickly how I'm honestly feeling right now. Just a little bit. Lower energy. And then what I do know is that my mind starts shifting into what's my plans for the day, What stuff do I have on? So they relate. So that's a quick tidy up. I've got some bits and pieces of work tasks, and then I've got my decisions board here, which is a real big one to keep focused on. What I like about myself, you see, I've added features, I call them power-ups, to make these a little bit more action orientated. So one of the big ones I'm trying to progress myself with is looking into digital project management from an advice point of view for myself as a career model. I already do a lot of that now, but really look at pushing myself to work in that space. So I've got some decision steps and actual tasks I've got to do to keep the steps progressing. And these are from stuff that keep me out of my comfort zone, like certification, certifying myself. You know, if I'm honest, I don't like doing that. It's like, I'd rather not. But, you know, to be a teacher, you have to tick these buckets. And certification for me is one of those as well. And ultimately, it demonstrates levels of commitment, pushing yourself through. Doesn't guarantee that you're good at it or anything, but that's beside the point. It's a piece on the list. You know, I'm not saying everyone needs to have a degree or anything like that, but at the end of the day, if it's on your list, it's on your list. So, so that's stuff I'm wrestling with. So things that I really wrestle with to push myself and to go forward and do, because I haven't done it now. I've done courses, plenty of them, and I've actually found I've gotten something out of all of them. There's not one course I've done where I've gone, I got nothing out of that. So why would this be any different? You know. So that's the battles I go through. So now I have to research. I have to find one. Does this fall on my lap? It's not just luck. I've got to push myself to know that that's something I want to pursue as I push through with the others. So it's all well and good to build a business model, to say I want to be this and I want to do that. It's what steps you're taking towards those, because you know, there's time in that. There's time. There's finance. There's a budget. There's costs. I used to use that. Costs, time, which come out of somewhere else, right? And so I want to factor that in. So I need to find some certification that fits with my view, even if it's not all of them. It's still a step. And I want to, you know, and I don't want to get too involved in thinking how much it's going to pay off. End of the day, I've got to get some type of certification that I think will help. Even though I've got a reasonable resume of CV, of history, of using products, some certification just adds a talking point of truth that's assigned to this type of business. You know, being a licensed realtor versus, I'm a realtor but I'm not licensed. I own a restaurant but I don't have a license to be a restaurant. Well, that's a step that they go through. So why is this any different, right? So yeah, so that to me actually is a big one. So certification, career certification. Is that not on there? Just noticing career references, build a business model. Ah, here it is. Ah, yeah, got it dated. So that's a step that I'm going to work through today. And I've got other days that other bits and pieces to work through. And I have a little quick tasks here that I step around and that sort of thing. So yeah, so I'll journal that type of stuff. So as I so what happens for me is as I start looking into, if we take that one thing there of certification, so let's put that down as a step that we can focus on. Right, let's put some focus there. So I said it's research courses. Right, so that's an action step. Well, how am I going to research it? Well, the obvious first straight away, let's do some internet searches. Right. And the other parts to this would be, another obvious one would be to discuss with others in this field certifications. So that's two things that comes to mind. So now I've got to go find some people and see what certifications they've got or done. So you look for successful people, you know. So that would still be under, I'd say I'd do some internet searches for that as well. Like LinkedIn searches. But this is a way of trying to get a bit more specific. So I'm trying to be, I can find out what courses are on there, but it would be equally efficient to, you can go down a rabbit hole doing that, or is it just as difficult to find people that are in the same field or industry, and what steps did they do, or what would they recommend? Now that's a tough one because it's not like I'm going to go talk to a builder and ask him what building apprenticeships he did and that sort of thing. This one is digital project management certification. So ultimately I want to be in the digital project management advice service. So a lot of this would probably come from software solutions. So if we look at software solutions, and support staff. So software solutions generally will have support staff that depending on the level they're at, they will have certifications. So as an example, just even with, say, a Trello, it's like being Microsoft certified. You could be a certified Trello supporter, so people would get you to set them up or help them fast track how they learn about the product. So that could be, there might be some certification tools to become that would get me into the community of like-minded. Let's look for a community. Like-minded. Which then opens up. So yeah, that would be, so that to me would be the start already. So see what I'm doing here? I'm sort of brainstorming out from the steps what I've decided is important in the steps. Then look at the step, then break it apart into brainstorming ideas or suggestions of what to do. And then I'm going to allocate some time, because from this list, of which is the, so I go looking into courses right now, well then it might be better to look at a community of like-minded people that have a forum, already have a list of things there, and look to see where some of those bits fit with where I see I'm going to push or be more specific in an area that I'm trying to be, and get more specific advice on it. Instead of general advice, I can get a little bit more specific advice. And along that way, especially when you're doing forum type learning and community type learning, you can find really quickly organizations that are either supporting that side or already in that space in the world, as opposed to me looking out my window. You know what I mean? And then I can not fast track, but just be more aware, and then take on some of those learnings to then shape my next steps. So I'm still in a bit of a learning phase with how the business model is going to run. I consider and say I think there's a need for it. I can say I think I have the skill sets for it. I can say all these things. It's about sort of pushing together and then being able to kind of frame it and then look at how I'm going to deliver it, and start practicing delivering it, and then start probably small with some businesses around me, get the foundations laid down, and then adjust, adapt, learn from that. It's a bit of a ground up approach. But it should be very fast once I clarify some more. So it's about clarifying some more perspectives. And I have to be focused and driven on these. So I've got to get moving. I've got to be disciplined. I've got to be consistent, and then do the work. That's what I think. So it's taken me a little bit to get to this kind of point as well. So I've done a bit of soul searching to get to this kind of stage. So yeah. So that's where I'm heading with that. and I think I might just get stuck into it with some searches, some looking throughs. So yeah.